Hey everybody, Joe, Redneck Collector, coming at you with another video. Figured I would, I'm a little late doing this, but do a video about the card show on Saturday. I got to go out to Columbia, Missouri, right smack dab in the middle of Missouri. College town, I used to live there. I went to Mizzou and lived there from like 2000 to 2006. So I hadn't really spent a whole lot of time other than driving through there since I moved back home in 2006. So it was cool to get to go out there, hang out a little bit in town, go to an awesome card show, but more importantly, got to hang out with my man Billy Ballgame and Chris from Missouri and Tom and Mauricio, and I got to meet Coop and Cameron and Tyler and some awesome dealers that I had never met before, along with some dealers that I knew from the card scene in St. Louis. Got to chat with them a little bit. But I'd never been to this show before. It's been going on for a while, and I have to say I was impressed. Chase from the Dugout has been putting on this show, I know, for a little while now, and it's really turned into a good show, it looks like. It had, a good amount of dealers. I was really surprised with how much vintage was there. It had a really good vintage selection there at the show. So if you're anywhere near Missouri, or if you're like everyday card collector Jason and you want to take a road trip, it's a good show. It's a good, solid show to come hang out and see some great cards. And even better was the company, right? It was so awesome. I really can't tell Billy Ballgame thank you enough. Thanks, Bill. You were great. I appreciate you kind of hosting me out there. We hung out at the show. Hung out around, Chris's table quite a bit, and Coop and Mauricio, and got to watch Chris spend some money, buy some cool cards. I just watched his video. He went over that, had a really cool story. So if you haven't watched Chris from Missouri's video about this show, or Billy's video about the show, highly recommend you check those out. But anyway, it was just a good time. And after the show, Billy and I went and grabbed lunch at a little place in Boonville called Maggie's. Had a great cheeseburger, some cheese curds. It was awesome. Then we went back to Billy's house, got to check out his baseball card room, his man cave. If you've heard him talk about it before, you go, oh, it's not that big. It's pretty small. It's awesome. I was highly impressed with it. It's very well set up. He's got the two display cases in it that you all see in the background in the videos with some awesome cards in it. Makes it feel like, walking into a card shop. And he's got stuff, all over the walls. He's got so many cool pieces of memorabilia along with an awesome card collection. We went through tons of boxes of, rookie cards and, junk wax and vintage and you name it. It was just a good time. We sat there and we talked for hours. In fact, I left much later in the evening than I intended to make the drive back home to my house, which is about almost 3 hours from Billy's house. So, but great time, really, really cool. And I only picked up one card, and I'll show it first. I'm going to show up some other pickups that I've been picking up here lately. But while we're talking about this card show, I checked a big one for me off the list. I love this card. It's one of his best images. And it's going towards my Yogi collection, my Yogi PC. It's a 1951 Yogi Berra PSA 3. Look how centered it is. If you've watched my other videos, I'm turned into a centering snob, which I wasn't when I was younger. And I'm not saying every card. I won't pass up a good deal on a card if it's really nice otherwise, but centering trumps all. And I bought this from Jeremy. He's one of the dealers there. I don't know Jeremy's last name. I don't know his card business. I think he had cards there, and I definitely should have got one because if you go to this card show in Columbia, and from what I understand, Jeremy sets up there. He had an awesome spread, just vintage mantles, everything from T206s up through that. It was a really nice spread of cards, and he had this out there, and he gave me a great deal on it. He had it marked. I thought was a little bit higher, and I just said, hey, could we get closer to comps? And he did me one better and gave me just an awesome deal. So I was able to add this one to the Yogi Berra player run, and just love the image on that card. It's very, very cool. So that was my pickup for the show. I didn't think I was going to have much of a budget for it, but my side hustle provided a little bit there towards the last minute. So I was able to pick that up, and I'm super stoked for the Yogi PC. And just the smile on his face, gotta love it. Just a very cool image. It also checks off on Mike Payne's 300 Great Baseball Cards, which, if you've heard me talk about that before, it's the book, but there's also the PSA registry. I'll never come close to the 300 cards, but it's fun to check off as many as possible. And this one fulfills that as well as my Yogi run. So got that. Definitely, if y'all checked out my last 3 videos have all been about the Redneck Grail collection. I've had a blast with that. I sent the 3 mantles off to SGC at a local card shop here, local to me in the south of St. Louis, called Elite Collectibles. Awesome spot. Ryan and his team, fantastic. Do SGC submissions and don't just straight $15. No shipping or anything like that. I just drop them off and then I can pick them up. So the mantles are there. Dropped them off last Wednesday. So hopefully, another week and a half, 2 weeks, I'll get those back. I'll definitely be doing a reveal on that. Other pieces of the Redneck Grill collection are probably going to go to PSA to fulfill like my post-war rookie run, as well as some player runs I've got. The only reason those mantles didn't go is I actually have all 3 of those in PSA slabs already. And I love SGC. Nothing wrong with it at all. But I do kind of skew towards the PSA registry a little bit. So, but there'll be more grading coming out of the Redneck Grail collection for sure. And I'll be ecstatic to show those when I get back. That's been such a fun time. I've gotten such great feedback from a lot of you all on those videos. So thank you for sharing and the joy of that. I'm still, here it is a week and a half later, 2 weeks, whatever it's been since I actually got it in my hot little hands. And I'm still ecstatic about it. Have fun just flipping through the cards. And, a lot of those cards I would like to have, in better grades. But at the same time, awesome story. I don't have, less than $1 a card in them. So a lot of those are going to get graded. Maybe we'll get upgraded somewhere down the road. But, a lot of them, like the bench rookie, I didn't have a bench rookie. It was high on my list of post-war rookies to acquire. And, ultimately I was thinking, I'll get a 5, but this one out of the collection will grade lower than that, but I'm okay with that. But we'll do more videos on that. PSA dropped that grading special for vintage. If y'all haven't seen that, $16.99 a card for the month of November, and it's only a 10 card minimum. So I will be sending off some cards to that for sure. And I believe my buddy Chris might be sending some cards in that as well. So hopefully I'll have a good video on that when they show up much later. SGC turnaround time is much better. But anyway, I digress. Let's go into some other pickups that I've been wanted to incorporate this. These I hadn't shown. Some of these I hadn't shown because of the Redneck Grill collection. All my energy and my videos went into that. But I have picked up some other cool stuff. A few of these just came in last night, and a few of them I've been sitting on. And I've got another good card coming that I'm excited to share for another one of my favorite players. But anyway, I want to show this a rather unique card, and it's also in a GAI slab, which I didn't have. But my local card shop here, Score Big Collectibles, has some vintage. And he had this, I've looked at it several times in there. I always buy something out of his slab bargain boxes or just his regular bargain boxes. And this is a 1969 MLB photo stamps, Louis Tiant. Tan cut. It's a GAI 9 for whatever that's worth. I know GAI not in business anymore, and some people have varying degrees of opinions on their slabs. But anyway, he had $5 on it. I packaged it with some other cards that I bought. I picked up some Paige Buchers, UConn basketball player. I picked up a couple of her First Bowman Chromes, trying to get my daughter into card collecting a little bit. So I've been picking up a few. So I picked those up. I picked this up, and so I paid less than $5 for sure. Probably about $3 into this card. And I just thought it was very unique. The slab is unique. It's got that weird plastic sleeve in it, but we just lost him back in October, possibly, future Hall of Famer. Either way, an all-time great, even if he's doesn't make the Hall of Fame. Great player. Speaking of another Hall of Fame player that I did not have any of this gentleman's card, and for those of y'all that have been watching some of my videos, I joke that I'm I would call these part of the squirrel collection because I'm just like squirrel. I see something cool. I spend an unhealthy amount of time on eBay, like I told Billy when we were hanging out this weekend. So I do find stuff, and I find stuff, and when I think it's a deal, I'm just like, I got to bring that home. I spend more than that. Sometimes, going to on break at work, I spend more on a bag of chips or bag of jerky or something. So I found some cards from a seller on eBay. Got combined shipping on it. So these next 3 cards I'm going to show you, I figured it up. I paid different prices for them, but all told, $25, taxes, shipping, the whole 9 yards. And the first one is a Hall of Famer that I didn't have any of these cards, and I also love any of the wood grain sets. So I don't have as many of this set, but 55 Bowman, Bob Lemon. And if you look at that, the color's good, surface is good. There's a little touch on the corners. Fairly well centered, at least for these cards. And I didn't have any cards of Bob Lemon, so to pick this up for, I think it was about $4.50 part of the deal. Couldn't pass that up. Next card on the list, I don't have very many cards of him, especially early. This would have an earlier card for him, like a third-year card here, I guess. I love 54 Topps. I love the image on this card. I love the image on most 54 Topps. I love that he's showing off his knuckleball. We got old Hoyt Wilhelm there. Pretty well centered. It's got a little touch, a little rounding on the top corners. Bottom corners look pretty good. Back has a little bit of chipping in the green, but pretty good for a 54 back. So yeah, couldn't pass that up. I love the 54s. Anytime I can get, a 54 card at a decent price, I'm going to jump on it. Jump over to 54 Bowman. And this one is really, really sharp. If it didn't have a little spot here in the back, it would be just amazing. It's a 54 Bowman Nellie Fox. Centering is not bad, a little top to bottom, off a little bit left to right, but man, the image is really clear. On the back here, I don't know if it's going to show up, but you can maybe see that top corner there closest to my eye. It's got a little wrinkle in it, a little touch. If it wasn't for that, this card's probably a 6, but with that, I'm sure it's more like a 4, 4.5 maybe. But man, it's great. Whether or not I grade these, I don't know. I would like to have Hall of Fame runs. Every time I watch something like Showcase Showdown, like I watched just a little bit earlier, and I see, Mike and Chris go back with these awesome player runs, I'm like, oh, I love that. I want that. But it's going to take time. And I was talking to Aaron from Valiant Vintage the other day, and we're texting back and forth, and I was telling him, my collection's all over the place because I do this, and he was like, well, it's a slow way of achieving, those player runs or Hall of Fame runs. I'm paraphrasing here what he said, but it made sense to me. It's a slower way, but it's a more cost-effective way, and that's what I'm going for. Is I'm getting a lot. It may keep me, this is $25. I got another lot of 3 cards coming in that I spent about $20 on that I'm going to show here soon. Very similar type of stuff. I just can't pass them up. I love the early to mid 50s stuff, especially. And I gotta have it when I see it, and it's a good deal, and I can combine shipping like I did with this. It really, really works out. So anyway, a couple other cards. I've been sitting on these for a little bit longer. I've been wanting to show them, but the Redneck Grill collection got in the way. But the first one is, if it wasn't for a little surface wrinkle, and I know we're not supposed to talk about, the things we don't like. What I love about this card is, number one, it's an all-time Cardinal great. I'm working on the Hall of Fame run from this set. It's one of the smallest ones. I think it's 9 players, and this puts me down I still need, the biggest one is Warren Spahn. I need a Red Shandist, and I need a Johnny Mize. But I can check off, there he is. There's Country. There's Enos Slaughter. And look at the centering on this thing. That's what made me just fall in love with it. And I got a really good deal on this card. It may not show in the light. It's got just the slightest little, wrinkle, not even really a crease, doesn't go all the way through. And on the back, it's got one corner that's touched a little bit, but God, it's beautiful. I mean, just the registration on it, the centering, everything is really, really cool. I love these 48 Bowmans. Now I'm down to those last 3, Spawn, Shandist, and Mize. This last card, As far as like bargains, it's up there, and I love this card. I love this set. This set has really grown on me. I only own a handful of cards now out of this set, but a 1950 Bowman. Now the 1951 is considered one of 300 great baseball cards. This is the same image. It's just a different size. Larry Doby, and I'm showing it here in the this ancient device, this ancient vessel, that if we have anybody younger watching on here, maybe has never seen a screw down, but I think everybody who's watching my channel is probably a graybeard like myself, so you're familiar with these. I left it in that, and I'm going to take it out while I'm talking here because I want to show you this card if I can get it out of here. It's the second card I bought off of this seller. Both of them come in these screw downs. I've gotten impeccable deals on both of the cards. This card, I'm just amazing deal on it. Very, very excited. I've been working on my Larry Doby run. That's really been a more recent thing this year that I started on. Just think he's an amazing story and player, and don't want to take anything away from Jackie Robinson. He deserves all the accolades, but I feel like Larry Doby deserves, and I just dropped my screwdriver, riveting YouTube when that stuff happens, right? So we'll get it out of here still yet. But I think Larry Doby deserves a lot of credit too. But let's take a little bit closer look at this guy. Now you can see there's a little bit of snow up there by his face. Some of that is from the image, but some of it is on the card itself. So this is not a perfect card. And there's a little mark right up here. You can see it a little bitty. I don't know if that, tell me in the comments if you think that's going to get a mark. I think it's more like what I'll call schmutz. I don't really think it's a mark. But the centering on this thing is fantastic. It's got a little bit of snow up there around about the image of his face, but the surface itself is really good. Just amazing. For a $60 purchase, I'm going to take it any day of the week. I'm so excited to have this guy. Can't wait to get him sent off to PSA as well. So that's what I've been buying. There's my purchases, kind of catching you all up on that. I've got a few more coming in. Another big for me purchase is coming, and some smaller ones that I'll show hopefully soon, and an SGC reveal on those mantles. And I'm sure there'll be more to come. You all probably be tired of hearing about my Redneck Grill collection before it's all said and done, but we'll see what all we grade there in future videos. So anyway, tell me what you think of pickups. Am I silly? Should I stay more focused? I don't know. You know, I do go after some smaller cards rather than big cards, but I also get some good deals, I think, especially when I'm working on some of these player runs. So appreciate you all very much for tuning in, watching, and commenting on my channel. I never would have thought, I think I've got 165 subscribers. I never would have thought that I would have that. It's very humbling that anybody would want to watch me drone on about baseball cards. So thank you all very much for taking the time and watching. Those of y'all that like, comment, I think it's fantastic. And I really, really do appreciate it. But closing in 20 minutes in this video, and I try to keep them as short as possible. So I will see you all on the next one. Thank you. Remember, keep it a little redneck.